Sally was a Boston
Terrier? Yeah, Boston Terrier.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was that one in a million.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, what they don't understand is, is that puppies are not puppies.
Yeah.
Right? It's the wrong term. They're young dogs.
Yeah.
I used to have a pet prairie dog when I was, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
I taught it how to walk on a leash.
Wow.
I'd literally take a prairie dog to the park with me and walk it on a cat harness. And he'd stop and stand up on his back legs and look around.
Special guest here, Shane Gentry from Sally Said So. And so it's good to have Shane here. And Shane, who do we have here with us?
This is Nancy.
She's
my little buddy. She goes with me everywhere that she's allowed to be. And not only for my own companionship, but a lot of education we do with her too. A lot of people, it's kind of funny, we either get one of two responses from her. If I'm walking down the street, people either cross the street and go, holy crap, look at that dog, or they run right up and grab her by the cheeks and go, oh my God, without ever taking into consideration that this giant animal maybe could take their arm off.
Right. Yeah. So what kind of dog is Nancy?
She is a dog de Bordeaux.
Okay.
She is just a fancy word for a French Mastiff.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever seen the Turner and Hooch movie, it's that dog.
Yeah.
She's just I think she's a little bit bigger than Hooch was.
Yeah. She's pretty. I like
yeah.
It. So when did you get her? Where'd you get her?
So I got her from a lady in Greensboro that owned her mom. There's actually a breeder in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And this particular lady just studded her female out to the breeder in Charlotte. Yeah. And I had just lost the Sally of Sally Said So had passed away. And then the very next dog that I got passed away getting spayed.
Oh.
It had an allergic reaction to the anesthesia.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, in a matter of, it took me about a year and a half after Sally passed away to be ready for another dog.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got that dog, got her cleaned. She was in a rescue bad situation. We got her cleaned up, got her vetted, got her trained. When we got her spayed, boom, right there again. And so I was actually down at the beach. I was like, I need to just get away. I was sitting down on the beach with a Corona and having a pity party, and I was looking to my right, and I looked to my left, and I was like, man, I need a buddy. Yeah. So I called my wife, and I was like, can I get a dog? So she was the next breed that I was looking for. Sally was a Boston Terrier. The next dog was a Great Dane, and then she was on my next want list. So I got online, messing around, looking around, and found her, and I was like, I called the lady, so like, you still have her? She was the last puppy of the litter. So she said, yeah. So I said, I'll see you in about 5 hours.
Yeah. You drove straight over there, right?
Straight from the beach all the way to Greensboro. That was it. Follow up and follow through in the dog world is, it's paramount.
Right.
I always kind of equate it to when I'm talking with my clients. I always kind of say, dogs. One thing it needs consistency, but they need repetition.
Right.
They got to do it a lot. Yeah. It's like how many times did you have to hear the ABCs? Before you could recite it when you were a little kid. You had to hear it hundreds and hundreds of times probably. The little toy you had sang the song. Your parents sang it to you. It was on Sesame Street or whatever. It was everywhere. And it's the same thing teaching the dog something. You got to have that repetition and consistency.
The dog is learning all the time.
All the time.
Isn't that right?
All the time. They either earned it or they got away with it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so like when people ask me about her, So
do you have her sedated now?
Oh yeah, we gave her some.
Actually, Steve Harris said this dog doesn't seem like she has any behavior problems.
Well, she's my dog. She better not.
She is a live animal. Look at that. Look at that. You're alive.
Hey, stay silly, girl. So, stretch it out.
Go.
Stretch
Make
it out.
yourself comfortable.
Yep. Do you feel better now? All right. She had to get on the cool floor there. But so when I started with her, a lot of people, what they don't understand is that puppies are not puppies. Yeah. Right. It's the wrong term. They're young dogs.
Sally was a Boston
Terrier? Yeah, Boston Terrier. Yeah, she was that one in a million.
Yeah.
She was like 6 or 8 weeks old when I got her. Yeah. I was freshly divorced, in some crappy little apartment by myself. And it was like, man, I can't. I gotta have my buddy. I gotta have a buddy. Yeah. And I was looking for the manliest little dog. Yeah. That could fit in either whether I was sleeping in my car or in my crappy little apartment that I had or whatever it was. I needed not frou-frou, but small. Yeah. And man, they're full of character. Yeah. and there's no quit in them.
Yeah.
I mean, she thinks she's that big.
Yeah.
Right. And so she came along at a real important time in my life, going through the emotions and the divorce and all this thing, and just all the turmoil that comes to your life when that happens. And man, she heard stuff that no other human being on this earth's ever heard.
Oh yeah.
And she's
a good listener.
Oh yeah. She loved it. She listened to it. What'd you say?
Yeah.
And so she was really the inspiration for this now, larger than life thing that I've created that I should have never. This should have never worked.
Yeah.
But
there's a tremendous need for it. You do such a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's back up. How did you get started into this business? You weren't always a dog trainer.
No. So my previous career, I was a concrete pump operator.
Okay. Yeah. I can see the connection there.
Little different path.
Yeah.
I got out of that business and I started driving tractor trailer, delivering for a chain pizza place up and down the East Coast, delivering to stores at night. Blew out my knee. I couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And basically my only other superpower other than picking up heavy stuff was communicating with the aliens. Ever since I was little.
And that is really a gift.
Yeah, well, it was just out of natural curiosity.
Yeah.
I've trained I used to have a pet prairie dog when I was late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
I taught it how to walk on a leash.
Wow.
I'd literally take a prairie dog to the park with me and walk it on a cat harness. And he'd stop and stand up on his back legs and look around, and people would be like, "What the hell is that?" Well, that's my dog, man. Yeah. But I wanted to do it just to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
I used to raise goats, and I trained one of my goats.
Yeah.
Best dog I ever had. That thing, he would jump in the truck when I told him to. He came when he was called. He was off leash. I mean, they're actually really intelligent animals, contrary to the stigma they get of stupid things that eat everything. They eat, by the way, if you got goats, they eat everything except what you want them to eat.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to mow the pasture. Meanwhile, every tree from 6 feet down had nothing on it.
That's right.
But, so I've always had a natural curiosity, and I would always train my own friends and family's dogs. It was just to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
So I had, and I was pretty successful at gaining the goal that I set forth for the interaction, but I didn't know what. I didn't know how. I didn't know why. Right. That was the big thing. It was like I could get it done, but I didn't have any science at that point. I didn't know why what I was doing was working and why this didn't work. So through the process of, after concrete pumping, after truck driving, a long time ago, an old fellow told me, he said, you can't fall off the floor. Yeah. And I literally was that, it was the quintessential country song. I literally lost my house. Yeah. I literally lost my car, watching him pull it up on the rollback in my driveway and carry it away. I was literally standing in front of the house with my duffel bag with my clothes in it, Sally, the keys to my Harley, and my guitar. And that was it. 30-something, 4 kids, bills, life is still moving along. Yeah. So instead of the pity party, I had a do-over. Yeah. And so I decided to go ahead and go this route. And now this year, this coming April is going to be our 10 years in business. That's amazing. And we got 10 trainers full-time, cover the entire state of North Carolina. We got 2 in Florida. And yeah, man. Sorry for the long-winded explanation.
Yeah, so I was looking on your website. It looks like you're expanding nationwide. So you have
those are affiliate trainers.
Yeah.
That we can refer to. Like if somebody had a friend in Boston, I got somebody that trains very similar, abides by the same kind of protocol. Right. I can send them right there. Yeah. It's the same thing as if I did it myself.
So tell us a little bit about your philosophy then.
Man, it's simple. Set the dog up to succeed by eliminating the opportunity to fail. Right. Right. If your dog cannot stay, this is it. This right here fixes everything. Yeah. A solid stay. Yeah. Okay. If somebody's coming to the door, knocking on the door, there's only 2 reasons they bark at the door. One is like Santa Claus just showed up, right? Yeah. And there's somebody's going to pet me, let me say my name. Yeah. And the other one is get the hell off my porch. Right. Yeah. There's only 2 reasons. There's only 2. Yeah. So, but the dog is free to engage in the undesired behavior at will. Right. That's a dog. Yeah. They always get. Who do you out there in Facebook land? Who do you think your dog wants to please the most? 3, 2, 1. itself. It's not you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not me.
No. Look, if she sits, it's not because I'm awesome. It's because it brings her the most favorable outcome.
Right.
Right. So it's just playing the we got the thumbs rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have to be stronger than. We have to be smarter than.
Right.
You know. And so it's really just setting the dog up to succeed by eliminating the opportunity to fail.
So I would say even if we're trying to be strong, if we find this is a physical struggle, we're trying to be stronger than their dog, then we must be doing something wrong.
Yes. Yeah, you shouldn't have to be in a confrontation with your dog.
To use Nancy as an example here, this looks pretty easy. I mean, this stay, but how did we get here?
Exactly.
How did you take a 8-week-old puppy to get to this?
Reinforce.
Yeah.
It was 1,000 times of her getting out of her place and me putting her back and communicating to her, stay.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. There's a big shift. There's the one ideal is that we punish the undesired behavior. So if she got up, we get your butt back in your bed. What do you think you're doing? I would wring your little neck. I told you to stay over there. What do you think's wrong with you? Yeah. What do you think your dog understands any of that? Nada. Right? I'm reinforcing that the dog has to stay versus punishing them for getting up.
Right.
Even though it kind of ends up in the same thing, that brain is not our brain.
Right. They think differently.
Right. Our job as the ones with the thumbs is to communicate with that brain in the way that it understands. And then it's just as fluent as you and me.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, I understand your dog as clearly as you can understand me. My job is to teach you the language.
Right. Right.
Because much more people training.
It doesn't look like, I don't know if you see her on camera, but she just did a big yawn. She's stretching out. It doesn't look like she's tuned in, but she's hearing things, she's smelling things, she's seeing things. She's taking in the whole environment and evaluating, are we okay? And she's okay with it right now.
Sure.
And so she's thinking and learning and processing.
That's right.
On a level that we can't understand.
Yep.
Maybe I can't understand, but you can.
Yeah, it's all reinforcement. If she were to get up, I'd do the same thing that I did with her the day first day she was in my house at 8 weeks old. It'd be no stay.
Right.
It's not no, don't go over there. It's reinforce the stay. Don't punish the undesired. Reinforce the desired.
Right.
So we have two kinds of group class.
Yeah.
We have a private group class that's only open to our clients.
Yeah.
That's where we graduate them from in-home training. We've accomplished most of the goals and we're ready. But these are very controlled settings.
Right.
If we have reactivity classes.
Yeah.
If we've got that reactivity dog or reactive dog, that customer is going to be doing a downstay in their driveway while we have our customers come by with their dogs that have been through the training program as well. Yeah. Not random strangers.
Right.
After that, we do have public. We have classes at Cabela's in Garner, and North Carolina. Sorry, and then and also at a doggy daycare in Raleigh, starting up there called Dog Diggity. But
Dog Diggity.
Those are for after. It's very planned out for success. In home, no distractions. Working on giving the owner new tools in the toolbox and new coping skills for the dog. Then controlled exposures outside of the home. We go to flea markets, we go to breweries, we go to all these dog-friendly places dogs are allowed to be. Yeah. Then we go, can you accept a public class?
Right.
And those public classes, though, for any trainer, if you're taking a group class somewhere up here in Virginia, don't expect your dog to do anything in that class. The way that they're designed is that these are some skills for you to learn that you go home and practice. Yeah. The chances that your dog's going to be successful with 10 strangers and 10 people in a strange place, which all the, stimuli are very rare. Most people walk away from class very upset, going, "My dog can't do it." No, it's not. You don't expect your dog to perform in class. Go home, practice, bring it to class next week, so you can learn the next thing.
I think so. Step one would be get your own mind right and get on the same level with them.
Exactly. As human beings, the worst thing that we do to dogs is the projection of human emotion onto the non-human. Y'all, they ain't gonna get it today. They ain't gonna get it tomorrow.
So if we're trying really, really hard and we're trying in the wrong way, it's not gonna work.
Right. You feel like you're putting forth a lot of effort and not seeing any results. Yeah. When all you have to do is change one little thing. Yeah. Right. That's where somebody like myself or you comes in, to the picture and goes, "Oh, wait a minute, it's just turn the key to the left this time."
Right. Yeah, and they start getting results.
When we're training, if the customers aren't going, "Oh, you know, all these noises that comes out. They're like, aha moments, you know. They're like, and we always get the, I feel so bad, I've done it wrong. Look, you didn't know. I can't come in here and do surgery on a dog.
Right.
You know, you'd have to teach me, you'd have to train me how to do that. You have to teach me I can't do your job. You know, it's the same thing. This is what I do. You know, the number one call that we get is wrong person with the wrong dog.
Yeah. Right?
For whatever reason, however they ended up there, it's not a judgment thing. But it is like, well, this, for instance, this is my dog. Because this is what I do. Man, if you see me jogging down the street out here with my dog, you better get whatever you can fit in your hands and come on. There's something real bad coming. Okay? If you see me running,
you're not running unless something's chasing
you. Oh no, and I've already thought about if I could whoop it or not. so if we're not go run down the road athlete people, right? So I don't have a Vizsla or a Border Collie or a Aussie or any of these working breeds, you know, that just got that drive. Yeah. And so I did my own pre-purchase puppy consultation on myself. Now, but we go into everything, hypoallergenic, people's size requirements, what they want the dog to look like. We do this for breeders and rescue, okay? So this is not just a breeder thing.
Yeah.
If we have a customer that we do this, like we did one, the guy wanted like a 2-year-old female shepherd.
Yeah.
So in addition to the interviews that we do in the home with the family, I go do all the research. Yeah. And I work for just about every rescue in North Carolina at some point, or not in North Carolina, in the Triangle area. So I call them, hey man, you're looking for a female shepherd, 2 years old-ish, something what you got, you know. Once we determine, you know, we find a couple of options, I go with the client, and we go temperament test the dog before they bring it home.
Good idea.
Okay? Yeah. And so we find out what it's like around strangers in strange places, neutral territory, you know, neutral park area, something like that, where we can get a good baseline reading. Then it's always, what do they do with the dog when they come home? You know? If they bring the dog, and it's classic, happens all the time, and it's natural, it should happen, is the compassion that we have for why they were in the rescue or whatever.
You gotta spoil them, you gotta give them a little extra because they came from a rescue,
that's right. You've been in this tiny little place for your whole life, you poor thing, I'm gonna give you this 3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
You're wrong. Negative. No. You gotta get them ready for that type of freedom.
Right.
They're gonna take that kind of freedom, and 6 months from now, they're either going back to the shelter, up for euthanasia, or in a behavior modification program.
Right.
You know, it's simply because we feel compassion and we don't have the education to understand what they need or the guidelines or boundaries, you know. Now, if we're going breeder, I do the same thing. I research the breeder. Okay, I call them and I hit them with questions that you can never completely rule out a puppy mill situation, but if I start hitting them with some pretty hardcore, I want generations of hips. Like, for every breed's got something. Like this particular breed, the Bordeaux's, are hips and hearts. Yeah. So I got 3-generation pedigree on good hips and hearts with her line. Yeah. We did one like boxers. You know, you're gonna have cancer at some point, probably. Yeah. So we want to. You know, I hit the breeders with these hard questions, and if they waver, then I'll move to the next one. If they answer my questions, then we'll go, okay, we'll listen to you.
I think that's a really, I just got a new Apple computer, and I got a 30-minute session online on how to use your new computer. And so I was going through all the questions that I had, and then, you know, 20 minutes into it, he's like, well, do you have any other questions? What are the things you don't know about it? I'm like, well, I don't know what I don't know. And so I was like, I've clicked on a bunch of screens and a new thing comes up and I don't know where I'm at, but I don't know how to get back there. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. I know this thing does more than what we just talked about, but I don't know what I don't know.
That's right.
So that's where you come in. Yeah. It's like, what questions do I ask the breeder?
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And what questions are you asking the dog? When you walk in there, you're watching the dog.
Of course.
You're watching everything that they do and how they react to every stimulus.
They're communicating 24/7.
Yeah.
It's just if you know how to interpret it or not.
Yeah.
It's just learning a new language. Like we had a client not too long ago. It was an elderly lady. Unfortunately, her husband had passed away.
Yeah.
The kids felt bad. The grandma was home alone, and they bought her a lab puppy.
Keep her busy.
She's got a walker, y'all.
Yeah.
This lady's click with the walker and shuffle, click, shuffle, and got a nuclear power plant for a pet.
Yeah.
we helped her find an appropriate home for the lab puppy.
Yeah.
And we went and got her a senior.
Yeah.
I call them the crapping lap.
Yeah.
It goes outside the crap and it goes back in your lap.
There you go.
But I mean, you know.
You could just get mine to go
it
outside.
Just goes outside, goes back in your lap. It goes outside, it comes back to your lap. You feed it, you let it use the bathroom, and it gets back in your lap. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. That was that dog's existence. That was the perfect match.
Yeah.
You know, that dog will live out the rest of its natural life there.
Right.
Where, you know, that lab could have knocked her over on her walker. It could be a health hazard. I mean, all kinds of things. And just her physical state was nowhere near what it would take to apply, you know, just even the most basic of training techniques consistently. So we got, that's kind of the whole pre-purchase
that's awesome
thing.
Yeah. And what a great thing for senior pets. It's you know, working with the animal shelter, it's so hard to get homes for the senior pets, but they have their places that are just perfect for someone like that.
Yep. So I trained her predominantly with negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement. So positive reinforcement was obviously acknowledging what I wanted. She sits, good girl. Negative reinforcement is I take away the good thing, right? So even today, she's almost 3 years old, and if I'm watching TV in my chair and she walks up and she doesn't sit, I keep watching TV. As soon as her butt hits the ground, boom, I'll pet her until she's negative.
You're adding reward.
Right.
So that's a positive. So
that's right.
A lot of people come in to have that positive and negative thing. You know, if we think I say no, that's a negative, but really it's if you a plus and a minus, you think of adding and subtracting more like that. Really. So
positive doesn't mean good. Positive means add.
Okay.
Negative doesn't mean bad. Negative means take away. It's adding and subtracting.
Yeah.
So I'm adding reinforcement.
Yeah.
By saying good girl. I'm retracting reinforcement by saying I'm not going to pet you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Until she does what I want. But then the cycle begins because she thinks she's playing me. Like if she could humanize her thoughts, she'd be like, watch this. I bet if I sit down, he's going to touch me. Like, I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him right now. Watch this. Boom. Right? But I'm playing her.
Yeah.
She thinks she got me, but I got it because I got these, right?
She's one step ahead of you, but you're 2 steps ahead.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. She thinks it's her idea. And I will pet her until she stands. If she stands up, I take it away. She sits, I come back. Stands up, I take it away.
Right.
You know, you can't just punish the junk.
Right.
You got to reinforce an alternative positive behavior.
So
like you can't just delete the behavior in a dog. You have to replace that behavior.
Okay. So if she is sitting or she's laying down, she can't be jumping.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
she's focused on sit, she's not doing a jump.
Set the dog up to succeed by eliminating the opportunity to fail in all situations.
So you can help us learn a whole new language to understand.
Just don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
And then once you start to think on it, it becomes almost easy. It's because you start to think the way that they are. You can learn a few lessons and then you can start to extrapolate from there and say, you know, you get some techniques down and you can do a lot of things.
A good way to kind of to add to that, one of our trainers is Hispanic, and so we offer the training in Spanish too, by the way.
Yeah.
And I asked him one day, I was like, well, how did you know when you were fluent in English? He's like, the first time I ever thought in English. Like he had a private thought and it was in English. Right? That's when he knew he was fluent. It's sort of the same thing when you're learning how to communicate with your dog. The first time that you react to the dog version of what you're trying to communicate, out of it just happens, then you're there. You know, it's not a, wait a minute, am I getting ready to do this right or wrong? It's like it just comes out just as natural as a normal conversation.
You just start talking on her level instead of on your own.
Exactly. I can go right from her brain to your brain and never miss a beat.
6 months. Because their dog's just about a year old or a little bit more than that, and they're starting to get mature, and we inevitably see some quirks, some behaviors, some issues are starting to crop up, and it's like, if we can get on that now, before it gets ingrained, then that's the time.
Well, there's actually a scale called the scale of a dog's will to dominate their environment. And what that is 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months. Those are the most it's like the human way to describe it is puberty. Right? We go through it once physically, but they go through it behaviorally 3 times. Around 6 months, around 12 months, around 18 months. And that's where the dog's starting to figure out, okay, if I do this, I can manipulate this like I want it. If I growl, you go away, or if I sit, you pet me. Either one of those scenarios, it doesn't mean it's good behavior or bad behavior, it's just behavior and a positive outcome to the dog. Right? So a lot of the calls we get are, man, my dog was great until he turned about a year old and all this. Well, that's textbook.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're like a year old and they're full grown, but still in their mind, they're really like 18, 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, I
think they know it.
I think I know the whole world, and I look like a full-size person.
Yeah.
But you know, the world's gonna slap me down, and I'm gonna learn that I don't know everything, and
That's
I'll go back to learning it. So they're kind of the same way, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna demonstrate what you should do on a daily basis. So this could be your big, gigantic 8-week-old puppy that you just brought home, and you want to love on them. So even right here, for her to examine this, right?
Other dogs have.
I want to tell her,
their
good
nails
girl.
trimmed with that thing has a smell. She can pick up, you know, 10,000 times the smell we can.
Now, no matter if it's an adult dog or a young dog, this is the best time to do this is at the end of the day. When all the kids are in their jammies, and y'all sitting around watching your favorite little TV shows, and it's calm and it's quiet, and everything's settled down for the day. Positive association with the equipment first. So let her touch them with her nose, reward her. And reward doesn't mean fatten them up with cookies, just good girl, right? Then we want to take and just tap each nail, right? Now, if you want to use food during this, you absolutely can, but intermittently. So I would do her entire foot, then give her a treat. Then another foot and give her a treat, like she's got to wait.
So you'll see in the vet clinic we do a lot more treats than that because they're dealing with a lot more stress and fear and other things as well as just the nail trimmer. So we're trying to really get their attention.
And plus she'll be slaughtering like a fool if I break out a treat here.
Yeah, I'll admit that
it'll be gross.
What we're doing in the exam room sometimes you see is really cheating.
Right. Hey, but you only got them for a few minutes. You got to get them in and get them out.
I'm just going to use the treats, you know? Right.
So the idea here is to simulate
you gotta stay on
getting
camera,
the nails done every day, not every 8 weeks. This goes along, if you have a long-haired dog that you need to brush on a regular basis, this will be a normal grooming routine that you do every single evening for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This isn't something you got to take an hour to do. Somebody can be simulating nails, somebody can be brushing the dog, right? And somebody could be treating the dog.
A spaniel or something, I would say, you know, touching their ears.
Yep.
And messing with their ears and maybe even wiping with a tissue so that they get used. Not saying that she has a problem, but if she's a Cocker Spaniel and she's a puppy, down the road she might have a problem. And if I did that every day, then she'd be so used to me touching her ears that it wouldn't be an issue.
What the cue is drop the leash.
Oh, okay.
So watch, if I take her over here, come on. If I take her here, I'm going to drop the leash, she doesn't go anywhere.
I think that's a good example of the relationship that we all want to have. It's like, I don't want to be, no, stay, no, come back here, get blah, 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 blah. It's like you can have that nonverbal even communication when you get onto that level where you guys understand each other and she knows what you mean and she's going to listen. That adds a lot of value to your life.
It does, but you know, it's like this is the what I want out of my dog.
Yeah.
You know, so I was willing to put the time and the effort into it. I put the hours in, right? I knew when she was coming home. Yeah. And I made sure that for the next 8 weeks, my schedule was as bare as it could be. Yeah. You know, and I mean, I do have the luxury of owning my own business. I don't have to go to a facility and work at 8 to 5. Yeah. You can still do it because it's not about how much time, it's about the quality of the time.
Right.
If you only get to interact with your dog 50 times a day, then it should be 50 training sessions. But for those 8 weeks, it was completely dedicated to getting as much done as I possibly could. Yeah. And just do the grind now. Yeah. And I got the next 10 years of this. You know, and I got the reward. Yeah. I got a great dog that'll listen and go, that I can take anywhere. Her social life is gigantically abundant because she's properly desensitized.
I ask you that because this is one of the most amazing things about your company is that it's kind of like when we are. We try to be a partnership. We try to be a part of family. We try to, you know, we're in this together, you know, you and your pet and us, and we're trying to solve a problem, and we're here for you. Right. You know, and so that's kind of what you're saying with this lifetime guarantee thing. Tell us about your services and your basic breakdown of what's involved there.
So everything starts in the home.
Okay.
That's where the problem is. Yeah, we got to get home straight before you can get out in the real world straight. So that usually equates to about 3 to 5 in-home visits. There is I cannot remember the last time we saw a client more than 5 times in the home.
Yeah.
That's, if we did, they weren't doing their homework. You know, and they needed a refresher. Yeah, I mean, 5 sessions is a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of information if it's applied. Then we move them to group class. Yeah. We have private group class and public group class. Those are unlimited for the life of the dog as well. They don't ever expire. Okay. You can come to 100 classes, you can come to no classes.
So it depends on my schedule. I could come,
That's right.
If I'm on it for 8 weeks,
That's right.
I can come every week.
That's right.
If I could go, yeah.
Yep, you can show up.
I show up in 6 months and say, I just had
5
time.
years from now, you show up in class.
Yeah.
You know? And we do cover the dog for the life of the dog. We call it behavior insurance.
Okay.
And what that is just simply, if you have an issue down the road, we'll come back and get you back on track. I had a client call me about, I don't know, 7 or 8 months ago now that I haven't seen them in 7 years. Wow. But they just had a baby. Dog and baby.
World. Yeah.
Dog and baby were jiving. So we went back, got them straightened up. And, I mean, they tried to write me a check, but I wouldn't take it. I mean, they wrote that check 7 years ago. Right. So that's the service. I mean, we stand behind what we do. We support our clients for the life of the dog. Sounds good. Sally said so.com. Yeah. That's the best way to get in touch with us. My phone number is right on the front page, and it's still, even 10 years in, if you call that number, I personally answer this phone. Okay. I still answer every single call. I still personally book every single client.